This is an optional review on how to solve simple equations. These are things that you should remember from junior school. So if you're comfortable, go straight into the exercises. Make sure you do a bit of a variety just to get yourself up to speed. If not, then you can watch the video and then have a go. The thing to remember with equations is we do the opposite operation in order to isolate the variable, and whatever you do to one side you have to do to the other, otherwise they're not going to stay equal. So when we have one like this, 5x minus 4 equals 12, what we need to do is the opposite, which is to plus 4. That'll leave us with 5x is equal to 16, and so then 5x, remembering that means times by 5, so we need to divide, and that is going to leave you x is equal to 16 over 5. Now it's perfectly fine for you to leave it as a fraction, especially in this course. We do tend to deal with fractions a lot more than we do with decimals, and same with mixed numerals. You can give it a mixed numeral, but the improper fraction is perfectly fine. So looking at the next one, 3x plus 7 equals 5x minus 2. Because we have x's on both sides, what we want to do is get x on just one side. And the easiest way to do that is to subtract the smallest one. If you subtract the 5x, you're going to end up with a negative, and some people have a bit of trouble dealing with that. So to keep life simple, take away the 3x from each side. And we're adding and subtracting that just as if it was a normal number. So the left-hand side leaves me with 7. The right-hand side leaves me with 2x minus 2. Now we're just going to solve it as we did the one above. So the opposite is to plus 2. And we get 9 is equal to 2x. And then we need to divide by divide by 2. And we end up with 9 over 2 is equal to x. Now keep in mind, guys, that this stuff that I'm writing in green isn't a step that you have to write down. Okay, you do have to write the stuff in black though. When you have brackets like in the next one, it's often easier to just divide through by the number in front of the brackets first. You can expand, you've got that option, but I'm going to try dividing through. So what you're going to see now is the setting out that I want you to show. So you don't have to write the green stuff, but you do have to show me these steps. So if I divide through by 2, I end up with 5x plus 2 is equal to 6. Then I'm going to subtract 2, so I get 5x is equal to 4, and then I divide by 5, and I get x is equal to 4 over 5. Now, as I said, you don't have to do it that way. You can do the expansion and then solve your equation. So if you decide to expand, we get 10x plus 4 is equal to 12. Then we subtract the 4, so we get 10x is equal to 8. And then divide by 10, so we get x is equal to 8 over 10, which simplifies to 4 over 5. So both methods are going to work. Use whichever one works best for you. Fractions. We freak out with fractions, but we were dealing with algebraic fractions in the last topic, so hopefully we're getting more comfortable with that. What your first step is going to depend on what sort of fraction you have. Generally, you start with the thing that's furthest away from your variable and work your way in. The x over 2 plus 5 is equal to 1. The first thing we need to do is subtract the 5, and the reason that we do that first is because 5 is not being divided by 2. So when we subtract 5, we get x over 2 is equal to negative 4. X over 2 means x divided by 2, so to work this part out, we need to do the opposite and multiply by 2. So we end up with x is equal to negative 8. Now remember, when you get these, if you're ever unsure whether you've done it right, you can always substitute that number, that solution you've got, back into your original equation to check. So if you put negative 8 in there, you get negative 8 over 2, which is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 5 is equal to 1. So you have to be right. So when there's one fraction, we just have to multiply by the denominator. When there's 2, we need to multiply by both denominators. So what's happening here is we've got a 3 and we've got a 5. So you have to come up with a common multiple for that, and the easiest way to do that is 3 times 5, 15. So what we're going to do is multiply all of this by 15. And when you do it, everything must be multiplied by 15. So every fraction, every constant, everything in your equation must be multiplied by that 15. Then we start cancelling out. So how many 3's go into 15? 5. And how many 5's go into 15? 3. So you still end up with that idea of cross multiplying, just like we did when we were trying to give them common denominators. Okay, then we start tidying up. So what we're left with is 5 outside of x plus 1 minus 3 outside of 2x is equal to 3 15s of 45. Now expand and simplify. So 5x plus 5 minus 6x is equal to 45. So 5x minus 6x, we get 5 minus x is equal to 45. So minus x is equal to 40. What do you do when it says negative x is equal to 40? Multiply it by minus 1. You get x is equal to negative 40. And this one is slightly different again. We've got fractions on either side. So again, you come back to that idea of cross multiplying, just like we did before. Okay, so the 2 will multiply the 3x and the 5 will multiply the x plus 7. So I end up with 5 outside of x plus 7 equals 2 outside of 3x. So then you want to expand. 5x plus 35 is equal to 6x. So 35 is equal to x. Okay, so it's exercise 3.1 and 3.2. Do as much as you need. I'll see you in class.